93, 93, 93. This is Aman Asherenew from asherenew.com. Today I will speak on what it means to be cultured, what we would call a Renaissance man or a Renaissance woman. So if we are talking about culture, we understand culture to be a way of life. So it is not a act, it is not a performance. It is a way of life, which is the Tao or the Tao. You are tapped into the Tao of a culture, which makes you a representative of that particular culture or many cultures. So the standard definition of somebody who is cultured is like a person who is well traveled, who has seen the world, who has broadened their perspective about people because they have been outside of their natural habitat. So you have experience with different types of people who think differently than you, who came up differently than you. And you are able to find an appreciation in it. So that's the first thing. Because everybody doesn't appreciate different cultures, especially when you think your culture is the supreme culture. It will be hard for you to appreciate other cultures or other people. So that's the first thing about being cultured is you actually have an appreciation for different types of people and different types of cultures other than your own. You actually have a tolerance for others, even though they are different than you. So the first thing is tolerance or temperance. And then you are willing to mix elements of your culture with their culture and make it artistic. So what I mean by that is you're able to take elements from your culture, integrate it with a culture that is different than yours, and produce something artistic. And that's essentially how we learn about cultures through the art. So when you are able to engage culturally with others, that makes you artistic and allows you to be artful with not just your words, but also your actions. Because if this is a person's way of life or their Tao, which they engage with directly, meaning we are connected to the Tao because of our culture is essentially what connects us to the universe. So when I'm saying the Tao or the Tao, I'm talking about the flow or nature of the universe or the cosmic intelligence. So what allows us to tap into that cosmic intelligence is our culture. Because most cultures are based on universal teachings or teachings that are based on nature. Most cultures are based in nature, which shows us how to engage with nature or the spirit of nature, which then becomes the tunnel or the path to connect with the cosmic intelligence. Essentially, we must know about the earth before we understand the entirety of the solar system. I mean, if we don't understand the components of the earth, it's going to be hard to understand the components of different planets, especially them on a collective level. So if we use astrological examples, someone who is cultured knows how to exist on any of the planets. This is what it means to be cultured. So you can exist on Mars, Venus, Mercury, Sun, Moon, Saturn, Jupiter, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto. You're able to be comfortable in any of these environments because we know planets then translates to numbers, letters, and then people, places, and things. So we are being influenced by planetary forces, irregardless whether it's a person, place, or thing, because everything is broken down into numbers. And numbers, as we know, are expressions of the planetary rays. So someone who is cultured has experience with all of the planetary rays or all of the numbers to the point where they don't necessarily have a preference. So if they needed to live on Mars for 30 days, and what I mean by live on Mars is just be like in a Mars home or deal with people that have a Martian or a Martian nature. You know how to deal with the people of Mars. You know how to deal with the people of Venus. You know how to deal with the people of Saturn or the places, the people, places, or things. And you don't have a preference because to you it's all alchemy. That's what it means to be cultured. You look at it as a grand experiment. And it's all about you adapting to your environment and circumstances because it all boils down to alchemy. So, what makes a person, once again, cultured is they know how to exist on any planet within the solar system or any number within the system of mathematics. Because most people have a preference. That's why most people are not cultured, because most people prefer one environment over another. They prefer to be around certain types of people, certain places, and doing certain activities. And they're just fine with that. They're not necessarily trying to go outside of that. The people of Venus aren't necessarily in any rush to see how life on Mars operates, and vice versa. So when you become a person that is traveling through the planets, not just the planet itself, but through all planets, and you're picking up on the wisdom from all of the planets, the planetary rays, and then you're able to utilize it for your own personal alchemy to the point where you don't have a preference. Like, okay, I know how to use Mars. I know how to use Venus. I know how to use Saturn, so on and so forth. It's not about, okay, fuck Saturn. I'm just strictly going to deal with Venus, or fuck Mars. I'm only going to deal with Jupiter. That's the average person. So when you remove that limitation from yourself, you can be amongst any type of person, any type of situation, any type of circumstance, and you know how to make the best of it so that it's used for your benefit. So now you're going beyond preferences and you're strictly dealing with things from an alchemical perspective. And from that angle, there's nothing you can't do, no one you can't befriend, and no place you cannot go where you have the ultimate respect for the cosmos because you are navigating from your cosmic intelligence, which makes you universal. So ultimately, what it means to be cultured is to be universal in your approach to life. And with that, I bear peace. 93, 93, 93.